we as a programmer, we write a code and we give instruction to a code. Like for example, I normally what I do, I write a function. Suppose I'm writing a function, I am writing function sum, okay, a comma b. So what I do, I normally call it with the incoming parameter 2 comma 3. So what is the outcome? Outcome is 5. So here I am giving the input to the computer, and computer program gives me the output, which is intended. Here the in this case it is input dependent. Okay, so the system or the program do not have its own intelligence, right? So that was happening, and that is also happening right now as well. If you are writing some code, Python, Java, JS, etc. Correct. But what is the next level? The next level is when like human beings interact with each other intelligently, they think, they learn, they do mistake. We want machine to do the same like a human being. So when machines start doing like a human being, then it is totally artificial intelligence. Okay, so artificial is like, obviously it has not equivalent similar body like human being, so it is artificially intelligent, right? So that is the way we normally see AI comes into picture. So in the AI, so without now, but what happened if we are in, like, suppose if I talk about the kid, okay, if I talk about the kid, what we do, kid come to the world. Now kids don't have any proper book, like they cannot read the book, correct? They cannot read the book, they cannot learn properly like a grammar, etc., but they learn from the surrounding. We talk to the kid in a particular language, English, Hindi, whatever regional language. Kids normally take up word by word and ultimately able to learn. So this is self learning. So we what we are doing, human teaching human, right? Human learning from human. But in case of AI, if we want AI to behave like a human, then we have to teach whom? We have to teach machine. So the human will teach machine. So while teaching the human, teaching the machine by human is nothing but machine learning. Okay, so we want machine to learn and act accordingly, right? So AI without machine learning is not AI, right? So basically there are things that can be automated without even teaching the machine, which is more of like intelligently creating the program. But so that's why we call it as, so machine learning is subset of AI. Okay, machine learning is subset of AI. Now machine learning, when we do the machine learning, so what we do, we give some inputs to the machine, and we got the output, okay, from the machine. Like primarily the normal output, this is also the output, but here the output is more of like predictive output, prediction. Okay, it could be prediction, it could be classification. Okay, so those kind of outputs is more closer to machine learning. Okay, suppose if there is a input related, suppose if I'm talking about weather in a particular region, okay, is constantly changing, like some way, sometimes rain, sometimes not. Then suppose I'm giving some inputs data, okay, suppose two data sets I'm giving on 2005 to 2010, this is the rainfall, and 2011 to 16, this is the rainfall. So what would be the prediction for the future years? Okay, for the future years, what would be the prediction? So if that outcome we can generate from the machine, then it means that we are successful, we are able to get something out of the machine. Here in this case, we are not have created a function that simply computes something. Here we are here the machine is giving output by self learning. Okay, so this is known as ML. Now if I talk further in the ML, there is a deep learning. Okay, deep learning is like, suppose a kid has not been taught about the hot and cold, and he or she picks up the hot pot. Okay, basically something something hot in the kitchen, right? So we normally don't touch it, it will hurt you. Okay, so it will hurt you. So what the kid will understand, the hot thing, whenever I touch, whether it is a pot or something else, it will always hurt me. So it is a self learning, it is a reinforcement learning, right? Is it so? This kind of learning automatically happen. And how this is happening? So when we touch something sensitive, then our neurons, which is present in the body, within the spinal, right? So all those neurons talk to each other and gives us a sense of feeling, right? Something is coming. So that is nothing but deep learning. So deep learning is nothing but neurons interacting with neurons. Okay. So this is the deep learning. So I don't want to go into that direction of very complex stuff. So it's just understand that MDL, the deep learning, is a subset of machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI. Now, if I talk about Gen AI, so Gen AI, deep learning can also be categorized into two. So Gen AI is nothing but subset of deep learning. Okay. So if I talk about the Gen AI, and this architecture evolved, and ultimately it started with GPT, okay, generative transformer, okay, and generative pre-trained transformer, and then we have GPT-2. So this way it slowly comes to GPT-4, whatever. So GPT-5 is about to come, and this is nothing. So Gen AI is nothing but generating one from another. Okay, that's it. So this is Gen AI, and now if I talk about the solution in the market, I think most of you are using ChatGPT, right? Means familiar with ChatGPT, correct? Now, what the and returning the response. Okay, so this OpenAI model is nothing but transformer model. Transformer model. Okay, it was initially started with the intent of translation, but later on, lot of things come: classification, summarization, lot of things, lot of capabilities has been built in within the transformer model. Okay, now OpenAI model. So this particular, when we say the versioning, GPT, GPT-4, this particular model is the version number of this is getting changed to something like this. Okay. It scraps the data from the website, it with the help from the organization by having some licensed contract, etc. So all of that data is getting utilized in order to train this large language model. Okay, so these all are large language models. Okay, and each of these large language model has a pricing attached to it. How much how much it costs to actually hit one API, one request. Whenever we hit a query, it is one request. How much is it that cost for one request, and for how many continuous requests is allowed in a particular time interval. Like for 1 hour, 20 requests is allowed, or 1 hour, 40 requests is allowed. It is the rate limiting. they have actually configured. So all these are LLMs, and we can use any LLM for basis on their accuracy, speed, cost factor. Okay, where somewhere where Gemini is shining, somewhere where Llama 2 is shining, somewhere Cloudy is shining, basis on the use case. Now, where does the AWS Bedrock sitting? We talked about a lot of things, right? But we haven't put up AWS Bedrock in this space. Why? Let us understand. Okay, suppose I am building an application, okay, or custom application. So normally what I do, I go to the browser, open up the chat GPT, and I'm happy. I'm getting the response. I'm happy. Now, behind the scene, they are using the API, which is nothing but open API, correct? Now, suppose you need to build a custom application, your own application. What do? You write a React application or Angular application, React or Angular, correct? And then you might be building some backend. This is front end. Okay, the backend could be consist of Python, Java, JS, whatever. This backend. Now, OpenAI says that okay, you can use my tutorial, my documents. I do have my REST APIs, basically APIs available. Okay, you can use my REST API. I say okay, I can use REST API. So what I can do, I can simply use the REST API of OpenAI, okay, to interact in this backend. Okay. Now, suppose OpenAI is suppose I'm creating something. Suppose I'm creating some self diagnostic like health related some application which scans the skin and find out a disease related to the skin, right? And that is basically image recognition. So I want to feed the image to the OpenAI and want to get some information. Okay. Now, suppose OpenAI is not intelligent enough in this space. It is not able to generate outcome out of the image. Okay. Basis on the image, it is not able to generate the outcome accurately. So it could happen that for that case, have to basically remove this logic and I have to call some other API, correct? Like, for example, I have to turn up to some other API. It could be Cloudy or something else. Okay, just an example. Okay, I have to switch to some other API in that case. So, what is the problem here? Every time I have to switch to the another API basis on the use case, correct? So, what I can do here, I can instead of using individual APIs for individual LLMs, I can simply use this backend. I can simply uh, call a one API for AWS Bedrock. Okay, AWS Bedrock. Okay, and I'm relying on this. Okay, so AWS Bedrock. So in the AWS Bedrock says that I have all these LLMs configured. Okay, whatever LLMs, cloudy LLMs. AWS itself has a LLM which is Titan LLM, right? And we can have like Llama 2. Okay. Uh, yeah. So AWS Bedrock, in the AWS Bedrock, there is a provision to configure these LLMs. These all LLMs we can enable. Okay. We can go to the AWS console and then enable this LLM in the console. And after that, we can simply make use of one AWS Bedrock APIs and we can pass in what to use. If I have to use Cloudy or Titan, just the name in the API. That's it. We don't have to change anything. We just have to change the name in the API request. Rest AWS will take care of calling the specific APIs, Cloudy, Titan, LLM, Llama 2, etc. And our application can be created with that. So we don't have to switch ourselves. We just have to change these values in this API. That's it. And this thing also we can intelligently create in our application. If it is a summarization, I should use Cloudy. If it is something else, I should use this. If something else, I should use this. In that case, I will simply change this name in the API request. So single AWS Bedrock API, and AWS Bedrock API is backed by all these LLMs. Okay. Now, lot of theory. Let's go back to the AWS console and understand AWS Bedrock and see how we can write a program in order to call AWS Bedrock. And behind the scene, AWS Bedrock can call Llama 2. How it can call Llama 2. Okay. So here we are on the AWS console. Okay. We are on the AWS console. So what you have to do, you just have to log into the AWS console and type in AWS Bedrock here. Bedrock. Okay. And click on this AWS Bedrock. You will be available here. Okay, you land on this page, and then you can click on this Get Started. That's it. Okay. As soon as you click on this Get Started, you will presented with a dashboard, and in the dashboard you will see all the LLMs as of now supported by AWS Bedrock. You won't see OpenAI here because it is not yet supported by AWS Bedrock, and I suppose they are in progress or something with the AWS. OpenAI and Gemini is not here, but yes, we have pretty much good support for Jurassic 2, AI 21 Labs, Titan by Amazon itself, Cloudy by Anthropic, Command by Cohort, Llama 2 by Meta, and Stable Diffusion by Stability AI. Okay, all these LLMs are supported by AWS Bedrock. Now, how do we use it? For using it, let me just put there. For using it, first of all, what you have to do, you have to go to the model access. Initially, the access to these models are disabled by default. Okay, access is disabled. To use them, you have to go to model access. Okay, and before this, like I have actually enabled this one Titan Text G1, and this one also Llama 2 Chat 70B. Let me show you how we can enable manage mode. Go to the manage model access. Choose checkbox. If you are sitting in North Virginia, all of these are available to you. Basically, it depends upon region to region. Suppose if I choose something else over here, suppose I choose Singapore. So you will see the list will shorten up. So in some region, only some of the LLMs are supported, not all. If you so only three, right? Unavailable. So basically, it depends on which regions you are selecting. So as of now, you if you have to test or you have to practice or you have to create some application, then you can choose either US West or US East one. Okay, where most of the LLMs are supported. And then you have to go to the manage model access checkbox, click on this checkbox, and then save changes. It will provide you the access granted. Okay, so it means that these three whose access granted is green, like this is present, only this we can invoke API only for these three. Okay, not for others. Now in order to use it, you have to go to the examples. Okay, so in the examples, those who are enabled, they can simply show. Otherwise they show this account does not currently have access to this model. Those who are having access, we can simply go here. We have the access for this 70B, correct? So there is no error over here. Now, if you want to test it, whether it is working or not, you have to go click on this open in playground. Okay. Now you can basically try it out here. Click. This is sample prompt. Okay, saying you are a very intelligent bot with exceptional critical thinking. I went to the market and bought 10 apples. So this is a kind of question we are asking from the uh, LLM, and then we can test it over here itself. Okay. So the outcome is coming. So AWS Bedrock is interacting with the LLM, and we can tweak these values. Okay, in order to test it out. Okay, we can tweak these values in order to test this out. These are nothing but prompt parameters. So lesser the temperature, more like accurate result could be. Otherwise, more the temperature, higher is the randomness. Okay. So these are the parameters that you can tweak and you can test it out here. Now, in order to use it in the application, what we can do, if just go to the examples over here, this is an example API request. Sample API request is given by them. They say that write a program in whatever language, whether it is Python, Java, etc. In order to use this API, in order to interact with this LLM, you just have to send this parameter model ID, which model you want to interact with, like the way I told you in the whiteboard, right? The name of the model, correct. Second is content type, which is always the application slash JSON. Third is also the same. Then the body is nothing but the prompt, whatever is the question you want to ask. Okay, so let me go back to the VS Code and show you how we can use it. Okay, we can make a call with the AWS Bedrock. So here I'm here just for the sake of like time. I have already created a program over here just for the sake. So what I did, I can tell you. Like initially, I created a folder over here. Okay, and then I've created a virtual environment with the help of Conda. Okay, I can I can tell you how I created a virtual environment. If you can, like suppose I create a folder, some random folder. Okay, new. Okay, and then you can click on open in terminal, integrity terminal. Okay. Now, in order to create a virtual environment, you can install the Conda as a tool utility. So those who are not aware of virtual environment, it's like instead of directly installing libraries in your system, we can create a virtual environment. It's like it will install into a particular folder. It will not corrupt or it will not override your existing libraries. So it will save your system. So it's better to use virtual environment. For that, you have to install Conda, and then you have to type in the command Conda. Okay, create -p and then environment name. You can type in any name. You can use your name as well. Suppose I'm using this name L40 learn for Turkey. Okay, and then which Python version you want to use. So I have this one installed in my system already. So I'm just putting it there, then -y. So in that case, it will create the environment for you. I don't want to type in just to save time. So once we are clicking it, like it will create a folder like this. In this case, in the Llama 2 case, I have put up the name as VNV1 instead of L40. So as soon as I type in, it installs automatically like this, everything over here inside. Okay, and then I created this requirement.txt file where I mentioned about Boto3. Boto3 is a Python library to talk to AWS. That's it. Okay. In case of you are preparing for Java or JS, accordingly you need to use that particular library. Okay. So here we are writing the program in Python. So Boto3 we have written, and then we write a command pip install -r requirement.txt. Then it will install all the libraries within this VNV folder. Okay. And then I written a small program over here. What this program is doing, it's simply writing a poem on winter season. Okay, so what we are doing, simply importing the modules and the prompt. Okay, and this is boto3.client. Basically, it is a REST client. It makes a call to the AWS. This is fixed. We have to type in like this Bedrock runtime only. And now what we are doing, we are enabling the model in this region, US East 1. That's why we are mentioning here US East 1. Okay, make sure that if you miss this one and you are doing something and your model is present in some other region, you will get an error. So make sure that you mention it. And then the payload. So what this payload is, the same payload that they have given over here. This is the payload. Okay, this payload, basically body, this part. Okay, this is the payload prompt. So this is mandatory, inst they're like the HTML tag, right? And then this is the prompt parameter, temperature, etc. Okay, and then finally creating this object body model ID except content type, right? This is present, model ID, content type, except, and body, right? And then simply collecting the response. The response structure will have the generation as a key, and then printing the response. Now let us run this code. Okay, now I'm here. Now in order to run this code, first we have to activate the environment. Conda activate venv/1 venv1/. Okay, it will activate the environment. Now I can simply run python main.py. Now it will write me a poem on the winter season. Okay. Yeah. So this is the poem that is responded back by the AWS Bedrock. And behind the scene, AWS Bedrock is calling what? Llama 2 LLM. Okay. So Bedrock itself is not LLM. Make sure Llama 2 Titan is a LLM by AWS, but Bedrock is not LLM. This is most of the people has misconception. Okay. So we cannot directly compete Bedrock with OpenAI. Okay. Make sure that we remember this thing. Okay. So it gives this capability to interact with LLMs. Okay. It is not doing anything. It's not deploying. It is not deploying anything. It's not hosting anything. It's simply interacting with the LLMs, whichever they support. Okay. Up till this point, guys, everything is clear, or till this point, I hope.
Guys, if you have any query, you can ask in chat box. I think we have a question.
Yeah. So one is transformer model is the big transformer model. As I told earlier as well, right? Basically, it's a model created only for the NLP conversation. Okay. So it's specific model, transformer model. So all of these models, whether the BERT, GPT, GPT-1, GPT-2, every other thing, Gemini, they all are transformer model. Remember this. Okay. So read about transformer model architecture. You will get enough of information. So even Hugging Face has distilled BERT as a transformer model, not actually created for a specific reason, right? So suppose you are building an application. You want to build an application, okay, for your, like suppose you for your custom solution. Suppose in day-to-day life you are actually spending money, okay, on ordering something on Blinkit, etc., etc. You are buying, obviously you are consuming some products in the house, correct? Now all this transactional data, you may assume that you are maintaining in the diary. Okay, this much I buy, 400 rupees, ghee 500 rupees, like this, correct? You are, this is the data that you are collecting in the notebook. Okay. Now now suppose you want to build something, uh, like you want to say to this LLM model. Okay, suppose, think of it like this. You want to say, hey, give me the how much I spent last year between November to January. Okay, how much I spent on fruits between November, January 2022. Can LLM say? Can LLM answer, or yes or no? No, right? Because it does not know your data. It does not know about your data, correct? So that is the problem. LLM is not specific to your use cases. They are not specific designed for your data, correct? Maybe some hospitals has some specific requirement. Okay, hospitals has some specific requirements, but the data is crucial. They cannot leak the data to LLM. They cannot leak the data to Google, Microsoft, etc., because data is critical. This is the data of the patient. They cannot supply this data to LLM to train something, correct? So that is the problem. So they cannot get the answer from LLM until they supply the data. Now, how do we solve this problem? By using LlamaIndex kind of framework. Okay. So what we do, we call this a we call this is training LLM with custom data. Okay, custom data. So what we do, we make use of the framework. So we do have multiple frameworks in this bucket. Okay, LlamaIndex. Okay. Second is we have LangChain. Okay, so these are, okay. So uh, we also have one more framework which is we have one more which is related to agent verse. Okay. So, so these frameworks are built to train LLM with the custom data and also doing additional activity. Like they have the capability of agents. It has the capability of agents. It has the capability of multimodal agents. Okay, multimodal agents or so additional capability like training LLM with custom data plus additional capability. Now we are talking about LlamaIndex first. So what it does, it says that okay, give me whatever source, like it could be Excel sheet. The data can be in the Excel sheet, correct? It can be in the database. It can be in the text file. It can be in the image. It says that this LlamaIndex says that I have the functions to receive data from this all source of sources. I can ingest data from all such sources. I have this function Llama. Let me just represent it by LlamaIndex only. I can ingest this entire data and then I will dump this. I will create an index of it and store it in a database. Okay. Now this database is special database, which they call it as vector database. Okay. So vector database nothing but store everything in terms of numbers. Okay. Normally we store everything in terms of whatever we have data in the data. Normally normal databases how it works, MySQL, etc. They store as it is, human understandable, correct? But vector database store data in terms of number because machine understand number faster, right? They are performant. So the entire data is gets converted into the numbers and gets stored into the vector database. Okay. Now if some user has a query like the same query that so the suppose in this Excel sheet you maintained your everything, you like your historical transaction, you are maintaining all of this information in the Excel sheet. Okay. Now what you can do, you can dump this in Excel sheet into the LlamaIndex. LlamaIndex will store into the vector database. Example of vector database is Pinecone, famous but costly. Okay, Pinecone. The best is Quadrant. You can use Quadrant, ChromaDB. They all are vector DB. Okay, so we can plug in any database with the LlamaIndex. Okay, so whatever data it index into vector database, it store into the vector database. Now when the user query, hey, give me the last 3 month, last year 3 month historical transaction, what happened? It will go here. Okay, it will go here. It will try to retrieve information from it, whatever information it can retrieve from this vector store. Okay, so it will retrieve from it. Okay, and then this will create a prompt. We will write a logic. Basically, here we can put in our logic, our our separate logic, and here we can create a prompt plus that response. Suppose this response is res. Okay, plus this response. This thing we will give to the LLM. Okay, this thing we give to the LLM. Now the response of this vector database plus the prompt that we want to ask from the LLM, prompt or query, okay, whatever the query that is created again, and then it will gives the response back to the user. So this technique is known as RAG, retrieval augmented generation, RAG technique. Okay, just again little intimidating name, but ultimately what we learn, custom data training LLM without giving data to the LLM. Here you see we are storing data into the vector database. We are not giving to the LLM. We are simply using that context information and then pass on to the LLM in generating the prompt to the LLM and then getting the response back. Okay. So it will not store this. LLM will not store this information. Okay. So it will simply response back with the right result. So this is the reason of having LlamaIndex. Okay. So LlamaIndex is used to fine tune the LLM in order to get the response. So this is on a high level we have covered. So yes, I think on a high level, if you look into this diagram, if you look into this, what we are doing, loading, injection, correct, indexing, in the vector database, querying, and finally evaluating means the user is evaluating. Like we can do the evaluation ourselves as well. Ultimately, the user is able to see it, right? So this is what we are doing. And in this diagram also, these are the data, different data sources, right? These are the different data sources, and then basically it shows everything in single image, not representing the actual workflow. But yes, yeah, that's it from this session. GenAI, Llama Index, the purpose of Llama Index to fine tune the LLM and gets the response. And then the AWS Bedrock, which has nothing to do with the LLM directly. It's not an LLM. It actually encapsulate or abstract away a lot of LLMs behind the scene. As of now, OpenAI and Gemini is not supported, but yes, let's see in the future. But yes, in the Bedrock, we can also have custom models. Here's an option of custom models. You can customize the model and then you can use it, fine tune the model over here and you can use it. Yes, questions, please, guys. Okay. I hope you understand.
Yeah, we have some questions in chat box.
Okay. GenAI had predictive return, so I thought it was different. But it no, GenAI is basically generation, text to text. So generation is not prediction. It's a generation. Okay. It's not predicting anything for the future. Okay. But yes, we can give prompt in such a manner that could be a prediction, but basis on the data that it has. If it is older data like last year till the last year data, you cannot say that okay, tell me something in future how these things will work. Right? It will not. Yes, GenAI is the short form of generative AI. Right? Okay, you're giving the answer. Okay.
Sir,
Open
one more
source.
question from Arbaz Siddiqui.
It's a
Are
question.
LLMs free open source?
LLM, there are category of LLMs. Some LLMs are free, some LLMs are not free. The LLMs which are hosted in Hugging Face repository, they are free to use. Like if you search for Hugging Face, in the Hugging Face, there are a lot of LLMs which are hosted. If you look into these models, okay, and over here you can search for any LLMs. You can make use of it. So Mistral 7B is open source. Okay, so that is a good LLM model. So there are certain models which are free, and these are mostly Gemini. These are having a capping of some cost, right? But what you can do, you can have this Mistral 7B as lightweight model are available. You can host that model. Ultimately, there will be a cost in invocation of that model. If you run this model in your system, then it's free, right? You can simply, so for that, you can use LM Studio. There is one LM Studio application that you can run in the local, like, and you can run the LLM in your local machine, okay, and then experiment, okay. So in that way, you don't have to spend money on like accessing the actual LLMs. But if you want to run it in the production, then we cannot use LM Studio. Okay, you have to again pay for something because ultimately these LLMs should be running in some system, either by the OpenAI company or in your AWS or Google Cloud. Somewhere you have to run it, right? So that cost you have to pay.
Any questions, guys? Yeah, I think we should move forward. So thank you so much, sir, for having this session. I hope all of you have learned a lot from this session. Please react if you learned.
Sir, I
Yeah,
have a
Satwik.
question.
Yeah, Satwik,
Uh,
please.
Sir, I am currently making an app which allows user to, it's kind of a social media app
Hmm.
for people. They can show their trees, and as their tree grows, they can commemorate their growth by taking their photos as a thread. I am also using Gemini to give people tips. For example, how they can, what type of plant they can use to grow their tree, depending on their. Let's say I am living in flat, so it will provide me the best plants I can grow in my flat.
Mm-hmm.
Another, I am also providing using Gemini Vision Pro. I am also providing. Uh, if there is a disease in the plant, the model will tell it that there's this is the disease and this is the cure for it. So I wanted to ask that is there something extra I can use, for example, in LangChain or LlamaIndex I can use to make it better?
Yes. Basically, there are 5, 6 LLMs, right? Some models are good at something. What you can do, you can create a small AI model that you can have a table, and you can put up every other metrics within that table. Okay, Cloudy is good in that. We already have some tables available in the Google, right? You just search for that which model is good at what, right? You can make use of that table to train your custom model. Okay, and then basis on the incoming image, you can choose, okay, if this particular which LLM to use in this situation. Okay, so you can make use of the LangChain with the combination of LlamaIndex plus LangChain, and then deploy it onto on any environment, like it could be AWS, okay, or it could be SageMaker, or it could be Google Vertex AI, okay, and then it will intelligently behave, yeah, accordingly, yeah. So, but yes, we can have further discussion on it. Like in a short call, we cannot I cannot actually understand the depth of what you are trying to do. But yes, there is a possibility of using LlamaIndex in order to create a maintainable application in future. Okay, rather than just end-to-end interaction with the direct OpenAI. Okay. Yes, I think we can get started with the quiz part. Quiz
Yeah,
part.
yeah, we can start. Let me share my screen first. Is it visible to everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's inside the surprise? Everyone is waiting. So let me disclose. So, for winner, you will get a chance one-to-one mentorship by Anup sir. आप ये तो नहीं सोचोगे कि मेंटरशिप से हमारा क्या होगा, क्योंकि अब रिसेशन का टाइम चल रहा है, तो रिसेशन के टाइम में मेंटरशिप ही आपके लिए सबसे बड़ा गिफ्ट हो सकता है कि हम अपने कैरियर को आगे कैसे लेके जा सकते हैं, राइट? सो आई एम शेयरिंग द क्विज लिंक in the chat box. You can simply click on the link and you can start the quiz. Let me share the link. Have you got the link? I have shared. Please respond. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. I'm starting this quiz. Here is the last question. So we have on the top of leaderboard Pragesha. Uh, Please correct me if I'm wrong, pronouncing your name wrong.
Awesome, Prakesha.
Pragesha. Please drop your email in chat box.
No, sir, it's exactly Pragesha. It's correct.
Prakesha,
Pragesha. Okay, okay, okay.
are you doing anything?
Congratulations, Pragesha.
Congratulations. Are you doing anything in the AI? I will definitely support you in any of your initiatives.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pragesha, please connect us on LinkedIn. DM us. We will connect you through them. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Very good participation, guys. It's not about Pragesha. Everybody who have participated and spent time learned something good. Yeah. Make some. If you guys are up to building something with the AI and you are thinking of some startup in that direction, and those who are looking for that startup related stuff, anything like it, then definitely you can reach back to Merit Code Hub and then we can see how we can help you. Yeah.
So for further any questions, you can ask. I think we have a question in chat box.
I think the question that is related to the plant one who is asking that question, who was asking, he drops. Okay. Where, okay, the question is where I can deploy your LLM, our LLM model project code, where I can deploy our LLM model project code run all time like backend, so then I can call. Okay, so very good question. So basically, you can start doing one thing. You write a code, you can deploy it in the Hugging phase. Okay, you can also deploy into the Vertex AI. Okay, you can deploy into the AWS SageMaker. Okay, and then you can front end can directly invoke the backend. Okay, so that way you can do. Or also you can, if you are using LangChain, then LangChain also have LangServe. Uh, as a by default wrapper. So you can simply run that particular lang serve in the EC2 machine or somewhere else. Okay. So that way you can use. Obviously, it will be a little costly, but to start with, you can do Hugging Face is a good choice to start with. Okay.
One more question about it.
One more question related to what?
Bedrock, related to Bedrock, I think. Yeah.
I think that was already asked related to has many risks. Does using open source LLMs this question you are talking
Yeah.
with Bedrock has any risk with the data? No, open source LLMs. No. As long as you are not passing any like if you are building something with the data that is crucial to your organization or personal data, I would rather build it via fine tuning way like RAG, LlamaIndex, or fine tune approach rather than simply passing my official data or important data as a query to them. Okay.
Any more questions, guys? I think we can
Wrap
wrap it
this
up.
up.
Thank you so much, everyone, for connecting and for being with us at the end. I would like to thanks everybody. And if you want to connect with us, you can ping us on LinkedIn, and you can connect uh, directly to Anup sir. He will definitely help you in your project. Okay. So thank you everyone once again.
Okay,
You
guys.
can.
Thank you. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
सर एक सवाल था मुझे ये जानना था कि कोई यूट्यूब चैनल हो या फिर कोई कोर्स हो जिससे हमें सीखा जा सके जैसे लामा हो गया लामा इंडेक्स हो गया लैंगचेन हो गई ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है
Yes, Arpit, there are many, but we will have a chat about your project and this. Okay, so you can connect with us. We will have a. Am I audible?
ये